Chairman Lips, Vice Chair Holmes, Ranking Member Russo, and honorable members of the House Health Committee, thank you for the opportunity to give proponent testimony on Sub-House Bill 248. My name is Ann Abbott, and I support this bill because my daughter's future matters too. 9 years ago, almost to the day, we essentially sacrificed our daughter's normal life because we were told to vaccinate her for the greater good. In June of 2012, we changed her life because we were coerced into making a medical decision without all the facts and research to help keep everyone else safe and protected. Unfortunately, we did not keep our own daughter safe and protected then. So now we are fighting to keep her from even more discrimination, exclusion, and medical harm. Our daughter had to have a right functional hemispherectomy in 2014 at the age of 3 to save her life from Rasmussen's encephalitis as a result of her first MMR vaccine. The U.S. Department and Secretary of Health and Human Services recently conceded in our vaccine case and confirmed what we knew all along, that her first and only MMR vaccine caused her Rasmussen's encephalitis, therefore leading to her hemispherectomy. Roz was left with half her brain, half her vision, gastro, pulmonary, neurological, and multiple physical disabilities, along with remaining susceptible to febrile seizures when ill. Due to all the medical effects from her vaccine injury, she already faces discrimination and exclusion from typical everyday activities. Her personal health and safety does not rest in the hands of others. It is our responsibility to choose what keeps her safe, and we do not rely on others' medical choices to protect her. Sub-House Bill 248 will prevent Rosalind from being discriminated, excluded, and coerced into even more medical harm. She will continue to enjoy her everyday freedoms in which we are granted at birth. If we do not protect personal autonomy and vaccine choice, we will be denying others like Roz from having the same freedoms as everyone else. Rosalind has already been denied access to stores because she is unable to wear a mask for longer than 15 minutes because she struggles to breathe properly with one on. A lack of proper oxygen could be quite harmful to her. She should not have to provide vaccine status to enter a place of business without a mask. Her safety is just as important as those who do choose to vaccinate or to wear a mask. Roz already has visible physical disabilities from her vaccine injury. She already gets looks, questions, and sadly is ignored by others because of her disabilities. If she has to disclose her vaccine status, this will inevitably cause more negative interaction for her. Her medical choices do not make her less of a person or an unimportant member of society. I fear that more kids, along with their parents, will act negatively towards her if they were to find out she is not fully vaccinated. I don't want her to be denied interaction with others because they fear her vaccine status. That information is for her to disclose on her terms, not forced into. If vaccines are mandated for educational and employment acceptance, Rosalind will be denied the right to an education and employment of her choice. She dreams of becoming a high-risk obstetrics nurse someday. If her medical choices and civil liberties are not protected, she may never have the chance to live out her dream. We already know that many medical settings currently mandate vaccines for a place of employment and can deny exemptions due to public safety. What about her safety? How do you tell your child that what caused her to be disabled is now keeping her from what she wants to be when she grows up? As a mother, I fear she will one day be coerced into vaccination so she is able to participate in society normally. I am scared that what the United States government and medical specialists have already deemed unsafe for her will ultimately take more of her life away. We are raising her to know what happened to her and to educate her to make safe, proper medical decisions for herself. But we all know how peer pressure can lead to making decisions that may be unsafe for oneself. I used to feel that the ADA exemption rights and accommodations would protect her from these possible situations. But recently, we have seen businesses, colleges, and employers denying these rights and exemptions without penalties. If there is nothing to protect my daughter and others' medical exemption rights, we are opening a door to allow future rights to be denied for them. I come here today for my daughter, for others like her, and ask you to support Sub-House Bill 248. and protect their medical autonomy and allow them to have equal opportunities without discrimination, exclusion, or coercion. Thank you.
5 minutes and 1 second. You win the prize. Congratulations and thank you for helping us stay on track. We're going to start with with Ranking Member Russo.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you for coming. And I'm sorry, I did not catch your name, so I was trying to follow along on the testimony. Can you restate your name again?
Ann Abbott.
Ann Abbott. Thank you, Ms. Abbott, for being here. And thank you for sharing your story about your daughter as well. I do have a question for you. So currently in Ohio law, as it relates to vaccines, the exemptions include medical exemptions, religious exemptions, and even philosophical exemptions, which is different. Most states actually don't have that as well. So what is it that this bill includes that isn't already covered under Ohio law, specifically for your daughter? I presume she probably has an exemption. Well, I don't know. Does she have an exemption for school, for example? Could you just talk about that a little bit?
Yes. Chairman Lips to Ranking Member Representative Russo. Yes, she has an exemption. She has a medical exemption. Currently, we do homeschool because of her disabilities, but those exemptions are not being accepted in society in a whole. We go to Menards, and because she can't wear a mask due to a medical exemption, she's not allowed in there. This will keep people from denying her everyday rights to go into a store, to shop in a store. This is not, and if we have to go with a vaccine passport, if she's going to be looked at and even denied, because private businesses can deny because that is their choice as a private business. This bill will allow them from keeping her from living everyday rights out as she pleases, even though she is not vaccinated completely, because she has a medical exemption. There's still nothing stopping private businesses from denying her access to their businesses. We see it all the time. It's not just Menards, it's Dollar Tree. I can keep going. I can't take her to Disney World. Well, now I can, but for a year I couldn't take my daughter to Disney World because she couldn't wear a mask longer than 15 minutes. They're a private business. They were able to allow that. If we have this type of a bill here in Ohio, this will allow her to live a normal life.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you. And just to clarify, most businesses are not using vaccine passports at the moment. But I guess on the flip side of it, I mean, what is your thought in terms of, businesses being able to protect their employees and other customers? What is your recommendation for what they should do in order to balance, what they want to do or need to do as responsible employers or as responsible business owners to the public that they also serve, in addition to your daughter?
Chairman Lips to Ranking Member Representative Russo, I'm not a legislator. I am not a business, well, yes I am actually. I'm starting a dance studio, so I am a business owner. And as we just heard in the previous bill, it is, we want to create a culture of inclusion. That is what this House bill here, or this bill is saying. These vaccines, they're not 100%. We know that. Who's to say that somebody that has the vaccine isn't going to maybe shed, or if you believe in that, or give somebody that COVID. We know that COVID is, we don't know a lot about this vaccine as of yet. But there is no more chance that my daughter is any more diseased or sick or, what do you want to say, a problem to society as somebody that does have a vaccine. But what the problem is I shouldn't and she shouldn't have to disclose the information if she is or isn't vaccinated just to enter a building. That is her information to share whether she wants to and not be coerced into it. And that does not need to be in a business setting as in Walmart. You can say that, oh, she can do drive up. You know, get your groceries, they'll bring it out to your car. Or she can wear a face shield. That was one of them because, you know, making an appropriate accommodation for her. That's not an appropriate accommodation for her. She has a metal plate that sticks up on her head. It hurts at times. That shield rubs that area. That is not an accommodation that she is able to have. Curbside pickup. She will never be able to drive. She will never be able to just run to the store quickly and even get a curbside pickup. She's going to have to wait for somebody to do that or have them bring something to her. These accommodations that these businesses are trying to make, and I mean, wonderful. Thank you for doing that. It doesn't work for everybody. And it's not going to always work for my daughter. What if she is having a killer headache and she needs to get some Advil right now, and she can't go into a store without showing them that she's vaccinated so that she doesn't have to put on a mask to go in there? She has a right, like every other human being in Ohio, to walk in a store, whether she is vaccinated or unvaccinated, without showing proof. Thank you.
Committee, additional questions? Hearing none, I have a few just to clean up some details. Ms. Abbott, thank you for being with us today and sharing your family story and personal history. How old was your daughter when she was injured by a vaccine?
She was 2 years old.
Did you know immediately?
Chairman Lips, yes. Not at the time, let's just put it that way. When she had her vaccine, she started to have seizures 15 days, a convulsive seizure 15 days after her vaccine. That was the first one that we noticed at that time, because before that I didn't know that there was 50 different types of seizures. We looked back at videos because it was right before her birthday party. She was having seizures 2 days after that we didn't know were seizures. But on medical record, it was 15 days after her first MMR vaccine.
You talked about the vaccine injury compensation process. How long did that take? Just give us a little explanation of that process. I'm not sure committee's aware of it.
We filed a VAERS claim about 6 months after her first seizure, because the only difference from a healthy daughter to starting to have seizures with no family history of it was her one MMR vaccine. We did them at one at a time. So we filed that. We were given a lawyer's name by our nurse at the rehab unit at Cincinnati Children's, and we contacted him, and it has taken almost 7 years in court, back and forth. We were just, they just conceded our case last year. So from 2014 until 2020, we've been back and forth in the vaccine courts.
So your family fought the case for 7 years before receiving the award.
Yes.
How old's your daughter today?
She is almost 11. Her birthday is June 17th.
Great. Thank you for those. Representative Liston?
Thanks, Chairman. Just a quick follow-up question to the Chairman's questions. MMR, typically given at about a year. What was the rationale for the timing?
Chairman Lips to Representative Liston. I had done some research, and I had a friend of mine. She had said, you know, have you thought about doing vaccines one at a time? Why are you doing 6 at a time? And I said, well, that does kind of seem a little much to me. So we actually started to do DTaP. We started that at age 1. She had no problems with that. And we had discussed that we were going to do MMR starting at age 2. And then at age 3, we were going to do the polio vaccine. We were doing them one at a time because we had read of vaccine injuries, and we just wanted to take precautions in case that was to happen, that we knew exactly which vaccine she would have a reaction to. We just never expected it to be such a major reaction.
Sure. So you were a little sort of skeptical of that to begin with, in terms of vaccines. Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you.
But can I add real quick? I'm sorry.
Of course.
My son, who is 15, we did vaccinate him fully up until he was 8 years old. And that was about when she had her seizures, and we just kind of stopped.
Sure.
Committee, additional questions or comments? Representative Gross.
Chairman Lips to Ms. Abbott, thank you very much. When you made your decision to change the vaccination schedule, which, as you know, we have a regular schedule promoted by the American Academy of Pediatrics and others, did you discuss that decision with your provider, who also agreed with you that this was an acceptable plan?
Chairman Lips to Representative Gross. At the time, we had been going to my family doctor that I grew up with. And when we told him that we were going to do a delayed and selective schedule, he fired us. He told us we were no longer going to be patients because we were not going to follow the schedule of vaccines that is recommended. I had to find a doctor that was okay to work with that. We found a wonderful family doctor who went along with it. So that is the doctor who did our first DTaP, and that is the same doctor that gave her the MMR vaccine. He did not coerce us, he did not degrade us, he did not put us down, and he was fully supportive of our choice. But our first family doctor fired us.
Chairman Lips to Ms. Abbott, and would it be your belief that in your relationship with any healthcare provider that it's a teamwork relationship, or would you prefer a provider who tells you exactly what you need to do, how you need to do it, and you will do it?
Chairman Lips to Representative Gross, it is teamwork. I do not want somebody to tell me what I have to do and what I need to put into my child's body. That is my daughter, that is my son. I have amazing doctors that we have found at Cincinnati Children's that are fully supportive of us, that do not push, do not coerce, do not make us feel bad for not doing any more vaccinations. They can make a suggestion, which, hey, you know what? Fine, make a suggestion to us. But when I say no, thank you, they're fine with it, and we go about with our visit.
Thank you.
Representatives, additional questions of Ms. Abbott? Hearing none, thank you very much for sharing your compelling story with us today.
Thank you.